Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So this is an interesting topic for me, and I'm always torn when we have to talk about topics like this, specifically with Jaron Boots Ennis, who, let me preface my comments, is a fighter that I thoroughly enjoy, a fighter that I believe is a young, up-and-coming champion and future star of the sport. And I think anytime we have these young, up-and-coming future stars of the sport, we should celebrate them unless they're fighters that I don't like, in which case I won't celebrate them, but I'm gonna be the person that's gonna actually be real with you and honest with you and tell you that and not present it as something else that it isn't. But in this particular case, I think this is a guy that we should be celebrating. However, it's so interesting that he went from being the boogeyman of the division, 147 pounds, to being a guy that people feel avoids the best fights in and around his weight class, okay? And I want to dive into this because Robert Garcia has made some comments. He made these comments on ProBox, and they're very interesting comments. I'm going to play these comments in a second because I want to react to them, because I want to decipher. I want to dig into them a little bit, whether or not these comments are fair or foul. Now, before I jump into that, I have to remind you that this is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, where we're always dropping boxing-related content. So make sure you smash the subscribe button. And for those of you who are regular patrons of the channel, you know who we are. You know what we do. And you know we're one of the realest platforms out here. I keep it real. I tell you how I feel. Make sure you smash the like button or the dislike button if you don't like the content, but make sure that you are engaging with the content. There's a reason why Jaron Ennis has gotten this reputation, whether you believe it's fair or unfair. And it stems from certain situations that have happened here over the last 2 years. Now, one of them, as far as I'm concerned, is completely fake, okay? This whole situation about he had the opportunity to fight Terrence Crawford, fake, okay? Because at the end of the day, this whole situation with BLK Prime, the entity that has not done a boxing event since 2023, when Terrence Crawford sent them into bankruptcy with the supposed $10 million that they paid him, they haven't done anything subsequent to that. So they didn't have the money to actually stage this fight. So that's fake news. Stop talking to me about Bozy. Stop talking. That's fake news. However, if you are a Terrence Crawford fan, you do have a point if you are seeing it through this light. I felt that Jaron Ennis had the opportunity to move up to 154 pounds and call out Terrence Crawford. Turkey Al-Sheep wanted that fight, and instead he stayed at 147, claiming that he wanted to unify the division, and then left the division once Terrence Crawford left 154. You can make that argument. You can. I'm not saying it is factual, but you can make that argument. You can make the argument that he had the opportunity to fight Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman wanted a certain amount of money. They refused to pay that amount of money, but then they made concessions for Stanionis to make that fight. People process these things, right? So those are the reasons why. And then you move up to 154 pounds. You fight a guy like Lima, who clearly doesn't belong in the ring with you. You destroy him. And it appears to fight fans that this is really just a showcase fight, right? You know, you have supposedly been the most duck guy. I've made that claim that people don't want to get in the ring with him. That's the part of the reason why he's not able to get some of these big fights. But you move up and you face a guy like Lima. Now, maybe there are still circumstances that won't allow you to get the fights that you want to get. I don't know. But now we got the trainer, or Vergil Ortiz, commenting on it, and he doesn't believe you want the smoke either, even though you say that you're going to show up to the fight. So I want to play these comments from Robert Garcia. They're interesting. And then I want to react to them because I want to, are they fair or are they foul? Right? And I want you guys' opinion on these comments as well from Robert Garcia in the comment section. Here's what Robert Garcia had to say.
But look, the way I see it with Boots, I really believe Boots and his team are still hoping to get another fight before the big one, because why wouldn't they invite Virgil to his last fight? They knew he was fighting somebody that meant nothing to boxing, that he was going to take out so quick like he did in 1 round. So that was that, having, inviting Virgil there, and having that would have been the main thing to do. That way I go to your fight, you come to mine, and we get ready for the next fight. I think he's gonna show up to make a show, to try to steal the show right there with the fans. But I really don't believe he really wants to fight, or else they would have invited Virgil and the team to go to his fight a few weeks ago. They never did. We never got a call. So Eddie, all respects to Eddie. I work with him very well, but I think he's the one promoting and saying more than Boots is, just to promote that fight for the future. I don't think they're ready for it. I don't think they want it. I really believe that Boots' team doesn't want the fight next.
Robert, that's a good point, man.
That is a good point. And I hate to say that. If you truly are interested in making this fight, why not have Vergil Ortiz at your fight? He's at your fight. You're at his fight. Why not? That makes total sense. And I think the part for me that I'm struggling with the most, like Boots, like they're saying that they've signed their end of the deal. But what it sounds like is that, and this is my opinion, I might be wrong, I don't know. But when they say, I've signed my end of the deal, it sounds like Boots and Eddie negotiated terms about what Boots wants. But you still have to negotiate on with the other side, come to some type of agreement in terms of what you believe the total pot will be, and then you determine what the splits and things of that nature are going to be. In my opinion, it will work like that. So I don't understand how one fighter has come to terms. Now, if you're working with Turki Al-Sheikh, I do get it, because Turki is not concerned about the overall business economics of the fight. He's paying you what you say you want. He's paying the other guy what he says he wants. Let's make the fight. And I'm not necessarily understanding or worried about the overall economics. But for promoters, they do have to be concerned with the economics of the fight. So I don't get it, right? I don't understand how you could actually come together with a fight unless you've already discussed the economics and how things need to be split amongst that pie of dollars. So I think I'm gonna give Boots the benefit of the doubt. He's gonna show up to the fight. He's gonna demand the fight. I think he's gonna make the fight happen, hopefully. But there are so many fans now that are losing confidence in Boots' true desire to go out there and fight, the best competition. I think he's a hell of a fighter. He just got to show it. So you guys let us know what you think in the comment section about this. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast and Sports Media, and I am out.